I'm Dr. Alan Unruh from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Been in practice, active practice for 40 years as a chiropractic physician. I think the future in healthcare is energy medicine. The universe is made of energy, and Einstein developed E equals mc squared. The human body, the most complex machine on earth. Every cell has positive and negative charge, where potassium sodium chloride gets exchanged in the cell membrane. When we walk, our arms swing opposite our legs. We can't walk any other way because of positive and negative charges in the body and all the cells of the body. And so new technology is developing different wavelengths of energy to treat different conditions that have never been treated before successfully. And it's not invasive, there's no side effects, no complications, so the risks are minimal. And so when we try some of the conditions, especially chronic neurological problems, when you think about the medical alternative often is drugs, which have a tremendous amount of side effects, or living with the pain or living with the condition that can progressively get worse for many, many years. It definitely affects people's quality of life. And so today we have a special guest. We got Christian here, who's had cerebral palsy and autism and some different conditions that they've been working with for many years. His mother, Christine, is also here. And we're going to have Christine give a little bit about her background and why she came here and what Christian's symptoms were and how he's changed in the last month and a half under this type of pulse electromagnetic frequency therapy. Christine, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you came here?
Thanks, Dr. Unruh. Well, I'm very excited to be here. I've been working with patients for over 20 years now. And Christian had been diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and as well as cerebral palsy. So it's been a long search of finding things that would go above and beyond what the medical field had to offer for helping with the symptoms. His symptoms were communication issues. He had a hard time communicating accurately. People would lose patience and get frustrated as well. Christian was frustrated with those relationships struggles. So in seeking and trying different products and different things, we came across Dr. Unruh with his pulse therapy and gave it a try. And Christian before was very angry, very frustrated, very kind of antisocial. Couldn't really work with him because he was very frustrated, had gotten into a really bad spot, and so we figured we didn't have anything to lose, and we came in, and energy therapy made sense because having different disabilities is just draining on the body, and it's a toxic strain just existing and trying to survive in the social world. So it made sense to us to try to get some of that energy back into him, and so we brought him in, and within the first time he did the 3 minutes, we saw a difference. He put that therapy on, and he got done, and he was calmer. He looked me in the eyes for the first time. He hadn't been, when he talked, he would never really look at you in the eye, but he got done and he looked at me in the eyes, and I could just feel and see his whole demeanor had relaxed and calmed and down, and he was focused, and it's just been wonderful ever since he's been doing it. It's only been a month, and he now is having more relationships. He's got a girlfriend, and he is well liked. He says people don't yell at him, and I'll let him share a little bit about his new life and restoration here. So Christian, you want to tell him a little bit about what's going on?
Well, I am very, very grateful for coming across this really good technology and how it really helped me with my just basically making me more calmer and more relaxed and more communicative, and I notice I'm a lot more peaceful, and a lot of people are starting coming towards me and asking for help, or just asking, getting advice and asking for them for help, and they even girls are been coming up to me and girls are coming up and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" and everything else, and it makes me. I feel more confident. I feel more energetic. I'm just being enjoyable to hang around with. So,
Christian, let's tell us a little bit about some of the things you had difficulty with, such as walking. Did you lose balance? Your gait? Has that improved at all?
my gait has probably been smooth for the first time. I always had a little limp. So when I first tried it around my legs, it was, I think it was about 3 minutes that I had tried it out with, and it made when I ran, it was smooth. It was really smooth.
You used to walk kind of with your feet inward, and sometimes you'd stumble against the wall, and that doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't.
You can walk straight, and
Yes.
being able to ambulate well makes a big difference. How about also your ability when you would talk to people, you'd stutter? Did that happen frequently beforehand? You had a hard time getting words out?
Yes, frequently I had that problem because everyone just was getting really frustrated with me because no one took any time or patience to actually listen and try to get through all my sentences through. And I'm just really grateful that now my connection on my brain has actually made more connections so I can basically talk more and people don't have much of anger issues against me.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Anything you'd like to add, like when the instructor, when he gave a presentation to the class, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, we used to have these meetings about Christian. A bunch of us would get together, probably 12 people working with his caseload, to see what's best for Christian. And everybody would have their ideas, and Christian would kind of just sit there and not say much, just kind of go along with the plan. However, this last meeting, they were determining it was getting so bad, Christian was so hard to work with, that he was going to have to go into like a group home or a really high security place where it was really intense, and we just didn't want that. So this was perfect timing. So going into this meeting, the people were not prepared at all for what had happened. We all sat down at the table, and the director asked me, she said, "Well, Christine, is there any concerns you had about Christian?" And I didn't say anything. I looked over at Christian. Christian stood up, he went to the front of the room, he drew on this whiteboard what was working, what wasn't. He nailed every topic he had listed up there, and even made some jokes about himself because he knows he didn't used to be so wonderful. So he was able to do that, and it was appropriate. He had the whole room in the palm of his hand, and all of it took not even 10 minutes. He used to wander off topics, and you thought, "Come on, Christian, get to the point." Not that day. He got up there and he nailed every topic, and they were just flabbergasted. And the lady who works with the advocacy program there said in her 5 years of doing it, she's never seen anyone self-advocate for themselves like Christian had done. And she never saw him before, but she had said she'd never seen anybody self-advocate. She was wondering why we were even having a meeting because he was so independently and well expressed. So I was very proud of him. So he's thinking better. His jokes are appropriate.
Wow.
He laughs at the right times, and he's just a different person. So it's a wonderful treatment.
Tell him about, sometimes you'd watch television, if something was funny, he'd laugh when he'd see other people laugh.
Exactly.
Because he couldn't comprehend what they were laughing at.
Right.
Now he can watch it himself,
Yes.
and when something is funny, he'll laugh on his own.
Because he gets that it's funny. Yeah.
The brain is, the parts of the brain that weren't working, it's like they're now connecting.
Very much so.
So for the first time, and how long has he had this?
He was born with it, and
Born with it.
it's been a struggle. And a lot of those younger kids at that age level, if we could reach those kids to get this type of therapy, they won't go through the bullying that Christian did, or the harassment, or the
Sure.
labeling. And so If that's anything to scream, it would help young people, especially with these cognitive issues, to help them. So,
Some of the people that saw him have known him since he was little that were in the room.
mhm.
What were some of the things they said?
The lady from the State Department couldn't believe it. Even going out to the car, she kept saying, "Christian, you just keep that up. You just keep that up." She was blown away because he's a completely different person, and she's worked with us before, and she's gone to bat for us, and it's been an issue to do that because he wasn't so pleasant to work with. But she was blown away. She's just blown away.
That's great. That's great. So you highly recommend anyone with any type of neurological disorder like you have, or cognitive reasoning and things, this energy therapy is the way to go.
Yeah, I really do recommend this therapy because it relaxes the body, and it stimulates the neurotransmitters to basically excite the body to respond better.
The treatment feels good too,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yes, and when you walk out here, you feel like $1,000,000.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you, Christian and Christine, for sharing your story. Hopefully, we'll be able to relate this and help a lot of other people with your story.
Yes. Thank you.